Instead, he felt pressured by Jay and others to live up to the persona he had cultivated in his music. Yes, it was true that Prodigy's mother ran a ballet studio and that he used to take classes there. What was so embarrassing about that? He had a mother who raised him in the arts. He was cultured.
And Jay-Z was part of that community, the Dr. York community, you know what I mean? And he had learned all that information that York was putting out, for lack of a better term. He's chosen a side, you know what I mean? And the side that he chose is money, power, and, he doesn't really care to spread any type of information that might help save somebody's soul. You know what I'm saying?
All right, Prodigy. Now, they have listed his official cause of death, and that cause of death is accidental choking. Apparently, he really did choke on an egg while he was in a hospital in Vegas.
Now, I talked to Noriega this morning, he was like, okay, I realized this. I realized that I really don't feel Prodigy died from choking on an egg.
50 Cent just dropped a bomb. He's speaking out on one of the most twisted mysteries in hip-hop history, the death of the iconic Mobb Deep rapper Prodigy. And get this, according to 50, the whole choked on an egg story, straight up suspicious. He's not buying it, and now word is spreading that 50's cooking up a documentary that might crack the case wide open. Now, Prodigy wasn't just spitting bars, he was dropping truth. Before he passed, he wrote an open letter putting Jay-Z on blast, accusing him of being in the Illuminati and selling out to the dark side.
Jay-Z ain't had to say when it was on, and he was getting dissed. Him and Nas. Mobb Deep and Biggie were the only ones from New York active in that situation. So Jay-Z is for making that quote in his lyrics. He said, since we had knocked out so much music before even inking the deal, he wanted people to see us with the cars and know we were signing a G Unit. I didn't know what to say. 50 was giving us 2 Porsches. I just said thanks. As soon as I got up off the phone with him, I raced back to the studio to tell Havoc what 50 told me not to tell him. Just like 50, I couldn't hold it in. Hav was hype. The one-of-a-kind special order Porsches will be delivered in a week. Do you know how to drive stick shift? 50 asked. No, I said, but I would damn sure learn fast.
That's not all. Prodigy was working on a full-blown musical that was about to pull the curtain back on how deep the elite's grip runs in the music industry. But just as things were heating up, Prodigy died, and that musical never saw the light of day. And while Jay-Z used to mock Prodigy's artistic, intellectual side, calling him out publicly, it was 50 Cent who always had his back. He pushed Prodigy to move past gangster rap and start speaking truth through his music. So now the big question is, what did 50 really say? Why is he stepping up now to question the official version of Prodigy's death? And if the rumors are true, is he really about to blow the lid off secrets that some major players, including Jay-Z, have been trying to keep buried? Insiders say 50's been working in silence on a major project that could shake the whole industry.
50, that's my boy right there, man. He can't do no wrong in my eyes. Bull with G Unit, 50, Banks, Yayo, all of them. Those are our brothers, you know what I mean? From Queens, we all grew up in the same neighborhoods. We got friends in common. It's crazy how, we never really grew up together, but the people that he know is the same people that I know and I grew up with. So it was just meant to be for us to do that deal with them when it happened, you know what I mean?
A documentary that dives deep into the suspicious circumstances around Prodigy's death. And if it drops, it could flip everything we thought we knew about the rap game upside down. And this wasn't some clout-chasing move or industry gimmick. 50 Cent and Prodigy had real respect for each other. Their bond ran deep. Back in 2005, when 50 brought Mobb Deep into G Unit, he didn't just sign them. He pulled up with Porsches for both members on day one. That wasn't just a flex. It was proof that 50 saw serious value in them.
That you're not cracking on none of those questions. They say, yo, look, really, we just want to know about 50 Cent. We know you down with G Unit. We want something on 50. If you can help us get something with 50, we let you walk right now. So I'm like, what? So, my mind, I snap it to strategic thinking. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm thinking strategic. Now I want to hear more I want to hear how far these people are willing to take this. So now I start acting like I'm willing to help them.
Prodigy never held back when it came to showing love to 50 either. In a 2012 interview with Vlad TV, he straight up said, 50 can do no wrong in my eyes. And it gets even more real. After 50 got shot 9 times outside his grandma's house in Queens in 2000, Prodigy was one of the only people 50 let visit him in the hospital. That's loyalty right there. Then in 2006, when Prodigy got locked up, the cops tried to pressure him into setting 50 up. But Prodigy didn't fold. He stayed solid, never snitched, never switched. That's the kind of bond they had. Ride or die until the end. When Prodigy passed in 2017, 50 took the mic at the funeral, something he'd never done before. He later posted, "I never spoke at a wake or funeral before, but I felt I had to say something." Rest in peace, Prodigy. God bless you could feel the pain in his words. And in his memoir, 50 gave Prodigy his flowers, talking about his sharp mind, his love for learning, and how his mom raised him to embrace the arts. But here's where things turn dark.
I start saying things like, I'll put my head down like this. Can I get a cigarette? You know what I'm saying? I start doing things like that. And they start thinking like, oh yeah, he's thinking about it. You know what I mean? So now I'm getting them to talk. Now they talking. Now they like, yo, listen, maybe, does 50 use drugs? Does he buy drugs? Does he do anything illegal? Does he sell guns? So now I'm just like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So now they like, well, would you be willing maybe, so does he let you in his car? Does he let you in his house? Would you be willing maybe to drop some drugs in his car? Or maybe drop a gun in his car and then give us a call? I'm like, wow. I'm like, yo, these people was there, right? So I'm like, I don't know. I'm sitting there acting like I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Can I get another cigarette? You know what I'm saying? So I'm playing it like that, right? I'm being strategic, like, because I'm a smart nigga, you know what I'm saying? So
50 also claimed that Jay-Z baited Prodigy into making reckless gangsta music, all while clowning his artistic side behind the scenes. Once you really look at what Prodigy was saying about Jay-Z, the open letter the Illuminati claims, it starts to click why Jay might have been trying hard to shut him down. Their beef didn't just come out of nowhere. It goes way back to 1998. That's when Jay-Z dropped his track Money, Cash, Hoes, and spit the line. It's like New York's been soft ever since Snoop came through and crushed the buildings.
They just yapping away, and I'm saying they really want to set this dude up. They have no they can't, they want to do it because 50 don't do nothing. He's strictly business. He don't around, you know what I'm saying? And they mad at that. They want to bring this man down because he's successful, has money, and they never can get no case on him. So at the end of the little 30, 40-minute interrogation, I basically told them, yo, listen, man, you're going to charge me, you're going to hit me with time, I'll serve my time. I'm not snitch on nobody, I'm not set people up. You know what I mean? I do my time like a man. I'm not a rat. You know what I'm saying? And once they see that, they like, take his ass back to the set. You know what I mean?
That bar was more than just a diss, it was a shot. He was talking about that infamous scene in Snoop Dogg's New York video, where Snoop is literally stomping on New York skyscrapers like a giant. Now remember, back then, Snoop was in an open beef with Mobb Deep, and he's West Coast to the core. But Jay and Snoop, they've always been cool. So when Jay brought that up, it felt like he was low-key backing Snoop.
Every hour, they would send a new group of detectives to question me. Like, they was probably in the back room like, well, let me try. I can give you a crack. No, let me try. All right, you try once. Let me try now. You know what I mean? So they all trying to take their little turns to see which one of them can get me to work with them. The last one was the ATF. You know what I mean? The ATF came, pulled me out my cell, brought me upstairs in the precinct to a conference room this time at a round table. All of them had their ATF jackets on with the yellow, writing on the iron on ATF. The back, they had their badges around their neck. And I'm talking about senior officers, senior, whatever you call them, agents.
And dissing his own city in the process. A lot of folks in New York took that personally, especially Prodigy. To him, it felt like betrayal. That line hit deep. For Prodigy, it wasn't just about rap. It was about respect, loyalty, and who was really standing up for New York when things got tense between the coasts. And while Prodigy and Biggie were in the trenches, calling out Suge Knight and Death Row, Jay, he stayed out of the drama. He didn't speak up. He didn't defend the East. And that silence, it said a lot. So to Prodigy, Jay wasn't just being passive. He was turning his back on the city.
With gray hair, you could tell they were high up. You know what I mean? And you could tell somebody called these dudes and they came from their houses to come down to do this. So, you know, they tried. You know what I mean? They was asking me to do the same thing. You know, put something in the car. Could you, you know, maybe get him, we could set up a buy and bus where he buy some drugs off of you. Maybe. I'm just like, wow, these dudes was going hard for this. Like, they really don't like this nigga, right? So ultimately, you know, I ain't do nothing. Of course, I ain't work with them or whatever. I'm like, you know, fuck y'all, I'll do my time.
And years later, when Prodigy started exposing deeper industry secrets, that old tension, it came roaring right back. To Prodigy, it looked like Jay was just playing both sides, staying safe, riding the fence, and not really standing for anything. That's when things got real. At first, their beef stayed low-key. No headlines, no diss tracks, just quiet tension. But that all changed when Jay dropped Takeover. He came hard at Prodigy with some direct shots, and things exploded for real at Summer Jam 2001. Jay-Z didn't just diss him on the mic, he tried to humiliate him. Right there on the big screen, Jay put up an old photo of Prodigy as a kid in a dance class, dressed in full studio gear. The crowd went wild, and Jay was soaking it up. Then he performed an unfinished a cappella version of Takeover, making it personal, raw, and public.
Felt Prodigy should have embraced his background more. It's what made him special and would have allowed him to create more significant art. I felt like Prodigy's arts background made him more prepared as a performer than the rest of us. He was a force in the studio, always coming up with new hooks and concepts. I even remember going to his house one day and noticing several movie scripts laying around. Man, when did you learn how to write scripts? I asked him. Oh, I read some book that showed me how to do it. He answered casually. I've been writing them ever since. That's the kind of ability he possessed. He could pick up a book, digest it, and then start churning out scripts like it was nothing. Most rappers struggle to write 12 bars, let alone a movie. They just didn't have the same artistic tradition to draw from. Instead, he felt pressured by Jay and others to live up to the persona he had cultivated in his music. Yes, it was true that Prodigy's mother ran a ballet studio and that he used to take classes there. What was so embarrassing about that? He had a mother who raised him in the arts. He was cultured.
And just when people thought the drama had peaked, Jay brought out Michael Jackson to share the spotlight. It was a total spectacle, designed to steal the moment and leave Prodigy looking like a joke. But Jay didn't stop there. He kept pushing the line, posting more throwback pics of Prodigy, including one with him rocking that famous Thriller-inspired jacket. Then he weaved it all into his bars, throwing shade while the world watched. But Prodigy, he wasn't built to let that slide. He stood 10 toes down. Word on the street is he was out there strapped, ready for whatever came his way. And supposedly, after that Summer Jam moment, Jay-Z started ducking big industry events, MTV Awards, the Source Awards, BET shows, all to avoid running into Prodigy. In a 2011 interview, Prodigy told Hip Hop that he was straight up ready to throw hands with Jay.
Interview I did in the Source came out. I picked up a copy in the Chicago airport when we landed. The Source put me on the cover, my first magazine cover as a solo artist. In the interview, the writer, Shaheem Reed, asked about my problem with Jay-Z, referencing an online interview in which they asked if I liked Jay-Z. No, he's a boy. He talking and don't live it, I said. I elaborated for the Source.
He even said that right after the Summer Jam disrespect, he planned to confront Jay at Diddy's old restaurant. This wasn't rap beef anymore. It was personal. Eventually, Jay-Z walked out of that restaurant with Jermaine Dupri by his side.
Jay-Z has a quote in his song, Money Cash Hoes, where he claims, New York been soft ever since Snoop came through and crushed the buildings. I'm trying to restore the feeling. But Jay was nowhere to be found when that drama popped off between Mobb Deep, Dogg Pound, Tupac, and Biggie. That was our little personal beef, not a coastal war. Jay-Z ain't had to say when it was on, and he was getting dissed. Him and Nas. Mobb Deep and Biggie were the only ones from New York active in that situation. So Jay-Z is a for making that quote in his lyrics.
But the second Jermaine saw Prodigy and his whole crew waiting outside, he vanished real quick. Didn't want any part of it. Jay, though, kept his cool. He stepped up with 2 bodyguards and tried to diffuse the tension by sticking his hand out to Prodigy. Prodigy said he paused, thought about it, and chose to let it slide. He kept it about the music. But deep down, he admitted he was watching everything, calculating, and knew he could have taken it to a whole other level if he wanted. But that wasn't the end of the beef. Not even close.
I don't care if you Mobb Deep. I hold triggers the crew. You little fuck, I got money stacks bigger than you. When I was pushing weight back in 88, you was a ballerina. I got the picture, I seen you. Oh!
Things escalated again when Prodigy started getting vocal about the Illuminati and claimed Jay-Z wasn't just in the know, he was involved. While Prodigy was locked up in 2007 on a weapons charge, he penned an open letter straight to Jay-Z, and he didn't hold back. He hinted that Jay might be connected to powerful forces hiding in the shadows, forces controlling way more than just music. Prodigy said he had a moment of clarity back in 1996, where everything clicked. He started seeing through the smoke.
Tell me about Summer Jam 2001.
Crazy. It's live. We the champions. You heard
Michael
it.
Jackson.
We live.
King of rap, the king of pop. Holla.
Turned out crazy. Big event, 20,000.
It's the rock, you bastards.
As always, you heard? Holla.
Beanie.
We don't do much.
Summer Jam 2001, man. How was it for you, man?
We don't do much.
We right here. Big celebration as always, man.
We don't do much.
That's it. It's a wrap. We out here, Jigga Man, Brooklyn. Oh yeah, Zab. Okay, right here.
All day. It's just the beginning. It's about to be crazy.
To him, the industry wasn't just about hits and fame. It was part of a bigger system built on control, lies, and manipulation. In his letter, Prodigy claimed the truth went way deeper than rap beefs or label politics. He wrote that the government, religion, politics, the Federal Reserve, and even the IRS were all just part of the game. He called it a joke, saying everything we've been taught to believe in is just another layer of the illusion. And according to him, Jay-Z knew exactly how it all worked. Then Prodigy turned the heat all the way up, going straight at Jay-Z, accusing him of hiding the truth on purpose. He said Jay wasn't just staying silent, he was protecting the system.
Jermaine see us, and he was out. He just left. So then Jay standing there with two bodyguards approaching us. So from a distance, probably from where our cameras at right there, he puts his hand out like this and comes walking up to me like this to shake my hand, right? So I'm looking at him like, this dude, like I could just really just treat him like a rag doll right now, like for real. So whatever, I shook his hand. What's up, man? He's like, yo, listen, there ain't no beef. It's just music. Let's just keep it just music. There's no problem, son. I just wish you would have came and told me that, how you felt to my face instead of putting it in the magazine.
In his own words, Jay-Z knows the truth, but he chose sides with evil.
I'm like, all right, that's cool. It ain't no beef. You can keep it just music. That's what's up. You know what I mean? And I had thought about it real quick, because I'm thinking about how I could just really overpower him right now. You know what I mean? With the security and all that. You know what I mean? And
because somebody was talking about shooting him.
Yeah, to tell the truth, my man had a gun on him in the club. You know what I mean? And I told him not to. Don't
he said we're just gonna beat him out.
Yeah.
Prodigy claimed that in order to be accepted by the corporate world, Jay decided to keep the truth from the black community and the world, while pushing the lifestyle of what he called the beast. And Prodigy didn't stop there. He promised to keep exposing Jay-Z, the Illuminati, and what he believed was evil in the world until the day he died.
Yeah, they doing all this ritualistic murder and rituals on little, they molesting little kids, doing satanic sex rituals. Like, this stuff is really going on in this world. Like, on 9/11, what they did was they killed 20 birds with one stone. You know what I'm saying? That's how I like to say it. You know what I mean? Because they changed all kinds of laws. They changed all kinds of...
He wrote, I fear nothing and no one. I'm fearless because the truth has set me free from the Illuminati mental enslavement. And I have been empowered by God and the universe. That's how serious he was about it.
They changed people's mentality, the way they look at the world. They pulled off one of the biggest ritualistic murders, you know what I mean, that ever happened, you know what I mean, live for the whole world to see.
So there you have it. That is Prodigy. And like I said, he then mysteriously choked on an egg. maybe the first person in human history to have choked on an egg in some capacity after speaking out about the Illuminati.
A lot of people actually credit Prodigy as the originator of all the Illuminati talk in hip-hop. He wasn't just throwing it around like a trend. He'd been talking about it for years, way before anyone else in the game even mentioned it. Back in 1995 on the I Shot Ya remix with LL Cool J, Prodigy dropped the now iconic bar. Illuminati want my mind, soul, and my body, secret society trying to keep their eye on me. That line hit different. He even followed up with, but I'ma stay incognito. In places they can't find me, make my moves strategically. Then in 2008, he dropped an entire track called Illuminati, where he rapped, "This is not a theory. The conspiracy is real. They want to put me in a straitjacket in a padded room and tell the world there's 12 monkeys so they can be confused." To Prodigy, this wasn't fiction. He was convinced the truth was dangerous, and he was ready to risk everything to speak it. But Prodigy didn't stop talking about the Illuminati, not for a second. He kept digging deeper right up to his final album, Hegelian Dialectic, The Book of Revelation, which dropped on January 20th, 2017, exactly 5 months before his death. And it wasn't just music. Prodigy was also working on a full-blown musical based on those same Illuminati themes. It was supposed to expose everything he'd been uncovering. That project had the potential to shake the whole industry. But tragically, Prodigy never got to finish it.
And now, like, I talked to Noriega this morning, he was like, okay, I realized this. I realized that I really don't feel Prodigy died from choking on an egg.
On June 20th, 2017, he passed away. And the world lost one of hip-hop's boldest truth-tellers. Now, Prodigy had battled sickle cell disease his whole life. So when news broke of his death, most people assumed it was complications from the illness. But when the official coroner's report dropped, it said something completely different. According to the report, Prodigy died after choking on a boiled egg while in the hospital. Yeah, you read that right, a boiled egg. That alone had fans scratching their heads. But it didn't stop there. Things got even more suspicious when Prodigy's family filed a lawsuit against Spring Valley Medical Center in Las Vegas.
Don't believe that Prodigy choked on an egg. And I had no idea what he was referring to. And I just wanted to let you guys know that there was a rapper named Prodigy who began speaking out about the Illuminati. He basically said, I have this platform and I want to use my platform for good to wake up the masses to what's really going on in society. And so I am going to dig up this old clip of Prodigy right before he mysteriously choked on an egg. And he decided to speak with Alex Jones. Take a listen to what Prodigy had to say.
According to the court documents, the hospital allegedly failed to maintain a working IV and didn't monitor his oxygen levels, even though doctors had clearly ordered them to do so. That lawsuit raised serious questions about how Prodigy was treated in his final hours. And as for his fans, they never bought the official story. To this day, a lot of them believe he was silenced, taken out, because he was getting too close to revealing things he wasn't supposed to know. And it's not just fans who think something's off. Even Kanye West brought up Prodigy's death during an interview with Candace Owens not long ago. But here's the twist. Right after that interview aired, YouTube pulled it down, and Candace got suspended for a full week. It goes even deeper. Candace later doubled down on her show, pointing out that Kanye had mentioned some of Prodigy's claims about disturbing rituals that allegedly go down inside elite circles. She even played a clip from one of Prodigy's old interviews. And what he described, it was dark. Real dark. If you go back and look through Prodigy's old tweets, you'll see he wasn't just talking the talk. He was dropping links, posting articles, and urging people to do their own research. In 2014, he even tweeted out an article about the UN warning the UK about alleged voodoo rituals tied to dark tourism. His caption, wild. He wrote, I told y'all, M-Furs, they doing X rituals on kids. Dumb people need to wake the F up. He wasn't holding back, and that wasn't the only time he called stuff out. On social media, Prodigy would say things like, Illuminati is preschool information. To me, that's like learning your ABCs. To him, it wasn't even deep anymore. It was basic truth that most people still refuse to see. Now, all these years later, with rumors flying that 50 Cent might be working on a documentary about Prodigy's life and all the secrets he was ready to reveal, people are starting to connect the dots all over again. So what do you think? Was Prodigy really onto something? Did he know too much? And could his death really be tied to the stuff he was exposing about the industry and those wild claims about Jay-Z? And what about that bizarre detail, choking on a boiled egg in a hospital? Is that just a freak accident? Or could there be some strange symbolism behind it? Nah, drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear everything. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. We've got more truth, more drama, and more untold stories coming your way. See you on the next one.